What if the special infected in Left 4 Dead just didn't exist? This is something that I thought would be a really good concept for Left 4 Dead 2 What If, because in Left 4 Dead 2 What If, we kind of like established the main story and then just kind of add to it. But I wanted to think about what would happen if we took away an element from Left 4 Dead. One of the core main elements, which is the special infected. The special infected pretty much make Left 4 Dead Left 4 Dead. And if we took them away, what would exactly happen? And if we did take them away, would it be more likely that you could also survive the apocalypse? Because in Left 4 Dead, we all know that the apocalypse has essentially wiped out all of humanity, and there's only so many survivors left. Now, if the special infected just ceased to exist, does that mean that we would have a higher chance of the green flu not being as bad as it would have gotten? Do you think that we would have gotten to the point that we have gotten to in the story? I don't know. Let's find out. So, let's talk about this. So, when it comes to the special infected in Left 4 Dead, there's a variety of different ones, and they all excel at different things. You know, things like the jockey and the hunter are really good at stalking you and essentially like getting you by surprise with their pouncing abilities. The charger is extremely fast and can get you really closely and narrow a lot of gaps. And you have the smoker, which is essentially like a long-range sniper character. The boomer almost is kind of like a suicide bomber. It just kind of like sacrifices itself for the greater good of its own teammates. And then the tank and the witch we all know are the bosses, which basically could one-shot you. Now, out of all the special infected, I feel like if you took away the witch and the tank, which are the strongest of the two, this alone would make a huge difference. Because typically, these are the things that more often than not will kill you in this game. Not to say that the other special infected can't kill you, but most of the time it's usually going to be one of these two. And when it comes to the tank, we all know that this is going to be something that is very, very critical to something such as the comics, where we all know that basically based off of the tank, at the very beginning of the Sacrifice comics, if you guys have looked at those, the tank is able to shred through essentially anything. There's literally nothing that can stop it unless you just flat out just want to like outrun it with fire, or if you want to just shoot it and just hope you get lucky. And for the witch, essentially that is kind of like the exact same thing, although if you leave them alone, this shouldn't even have to be an issue, but they do have to be killed eventually, because otherwise they'll just sit there and then you essentially have to sanction off that entire area and like never go there again. I think personally that if you were to just take away the special infected, it would be a lot easier to survive in the apocalypse, because if you really think about it, that just leaves the commons, and then also technically the uncommon zombies, because those are classified as their own thing, which means that you would still have things such as the clown, the fallen survivor, you would have like the construction zombie, a couple of the other ones like hazmat zombies, maybe even at the most somebody like Jimmy Gibbs Jr., but Jimmy Gibbs is specific to just one map on one chapter, and there's only like one of him. So unless other people evolve to be at that level of like beefiness, because he actually is the strongest uncommon with like a lot of HP and being resistant to a lot of things, I mean, even then, I mean, that's not really something that is like too much. Luckily, the good news is that it's very narrowed down. Even if it was applied to multiple people, it would still be a lot easier than a tank or a witch would be. So, in my opinion, I feel like that since the main things that are responsible for a lot of the deaths in Left 4 Dead are the special infected, most notably the tank and the witch, because the one thing I also want to reference as like one last thing real quick is that the tanks are essentially what kills Bill in the Sacrifice, because we all know at the very end of the Sacrifice comic that what happens is that when Bill goes to turn on the generator, it is the giant 3 tanks at the very end that are his undoing. If the tanks were not there, just that alone would actually probably allow Bill to live. And if Bill lived, the entire events of the Left 4 Dead 1 crew would change, which would also in turn affect the Left 4 Dead 2 crew, because the Left 4 Dead 2 crew would actually not run to the Left 4 Dead 1 crew at the passing event at that point. So a lot of things would actually affect the other future timeline, and it would be like a what-if scenario. Removing one thing affects the entire story if you really think about it. And the funny thing is, too, is that this is just like one infected, maybe two I'm referencing, because the witch and the tank do a lot. But if you took away just all the special infected and you just had the uncommons, I think that the zombie apocalypse in Left 4 Dead wouldn't be nearly as bad as it could be. I'm just curious, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. But other than that, that's pretty much it for today's video. Before you do go, though, guys, I do just want to refer you guys to the first episode of What If, just because this actually will go more in depth about what I think about what would happen if Bill, had not sacrificed himself. Because I know a lot of you guys were kind of probably like thinking, like, why did I leave you guys hanging there about like talking about, oh yeah, well, it's not a big deal, even though Bill would have not died, which sounds a lot more like a big deal than you think. I just don't necessarily want to get a little bit redundant when I actually have a prior episode talking about it. So if you want to like have kind of like, I guess, like a prequel to this idea, talking about what would happen if Bill didn't sacrifice himself and what I think would happen, I would just recommend you just, referring to another episode. But yeah, guys, that's going to be here for today's video. I do truly hope you guys end up enjoying. Let me know what you think Left 4 Dead would be like if we did not have these special infected. I think it definitely would be an interesting concept. It wouldn't feel exactly like a Left 4 Dead, and a lot of the story would play differently. But in terms of gameplay mechanics, it probably would just be a lot like playing the simpler modes, because there is some Left 4 Dead modes that do kind of have like a, simplified gameplay essence like this. Not entirely like perfect, but it is got some pretty similar modes in this game. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it here for today's video. I do hope you guys ended up enjoying. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, and subscribe, and all that beautiful stuff. If you'd like to financially support the channel, I tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It is always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions, or you guys can use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor, and they're sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. Shout out to Jake Squid, by the way, for being a Patreon supporter. I appreciate you, my homie. You are an awesome person, and I hope you guys end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers you're ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys. I love you, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!